Welcome back. So, in our Cypress with TypeScript series, today we are going to see how we can handle the select elements or a drop down. Okay, so first let's understand what is the select element and what are the options available or the actions available in Cypress. Okay, so for that, let me first move to a demo page, and here you can see this particular element is a select element. How do you know that? So you have to right click and say inspect, and here you can see the tag name is select, and this select is having few of the attributes like id, name, or whatever the attribute is there, and then each select will have one or more options to select. Okay, so if I mouse over and then click on this will be popping up a drop down, so we can call it as a select element, drop down, combo box, we can say anything. And these are the select elements which accepts one of the option to be selected. Okay, so like either I can select the first option or the last option, and I can verify whatever it is selected. Okay, and there are two different kinds of selections are there here. One is based on the value. So if you see, this select element has one or more options, so these items are tagged as tag name as option. Each option can have a value and the display text. So if you see, this value is in small letters, but the text that is present inside this option opening and closing element tag, that is the actual value that is displayed in here. You can see for the last option it is not applicable, the text is not applicable, but the value is NA. Now Cypress is giving you an option, either you can select based on this value or based on this text. So that is what we are going to see. Fine. So this is actually single selection, like you can select any one of these option. There are another kind of drop downs are there where you can select multiple elements. For an instance, if you see this one, this is also, if you inspect, this is also a select tag, but you see here is a multiple and a attribute is there. It means that the drop downs are allowed to have one or more selections, and it is the same thing as the normal select tag. The only difference is that you can choose multiple options or you can select multiple options, and the same thing, it has different options are there. Each option has a value and the display text. So here you can see I can select multiple, like if you are using Mac operating system, you can press the command and then you can keep clicking one on the options. If you are using your Windows operating system, you can press control and then keep selecting one by one. That's how you will do a multi selection manually. But we will see in Cypress how we can handle these single selections and the multiple selections as well. Okay, so for this, actually Cypress is giving an option here. You can see it's a method which is select. Now this select can accept a single value or multiple values. Single value for a single selection, multiple values, like if you give in comma separated, it will select that many multiple options. The condition is that it should match either the value or the display text. Okay, fine. Now there is one more parameter, that is options. Like as usual, each Cypress method has these kind of options, right? Let's see what select method is having the options. So if I scroll down here, you can see there are three options available. You can use force, you can use log, like you can print the log or you can remove the log. We have already discussed many times in our previous sessions. Okay, and timeout is basically, let's say that if any of your select tag is taking more time to select an option or identify, and it is going beyond your 4 seconds of wait time, you can use here timeout as a 6, 7 or 10 seconds. You can override the default selection. So that is all about. Now force is bit peculiar and very specific to this select tag. Let me show you one quick example here. They have already listed that. So this is basically to enable your select. For some reason, let's say that your select element is hidden actually for some reason. Now what you can do, because it is display is none, that's why the select tag would have been, or the element is disabled. Now if you want to select some option, you can override force is true. Okay, so when you say force equal to true, it's by default false actually. False means if the select tag or element is enabled, then only it will select. But for some reason, if you want to make it enable, from disable to enable or from hidden to visible, that time you can make it as force colon true. Okay, so this is how you are giving your options, right? In the select method, that's how you can do. So even though the display is none here, you can select one option by making force is true. So this is one specific usage of that. Fine. So let me move back to the my demo page, and here let me first identify this one, and the name is as gender, right? So I have already made a template for this one. So it's like it's visiting to that web page, and after that what I'm doing, sci dot select, and it's a method. Right now inside this, what I need to give, I need to give my css selector, so which is name equal to s gender. Okay, and here let me give a escape sequence, escape character with the single quote, and here I will say dot. Now select, see, sci dot not select, it's basically get, because I'm identifying that element. Once I'm identifying that select drop down, I want to select something. Now I told there are two ways you can select, either based on the value or by the display text. For now, let's put it by value actually. So here simply I will put a single quote and I will make it as male, or else I will say here value, the last option is na, right? Na is my value, but the display text is not applicable. So here I can make it like this. Even what I can do, sci dot, and even I can do another way also. Let me just copy paste this one, and here this time let me select based on the display text. You can see it is female, female is capital F, so here I will say female. Maybe let's put a weight here, so sci dot weight, there is a weight actually in here which is accepts a value actually. That much of time the Cypress will be waiting actually for you. You can see here it is sci dot wait, yeah, you can see here. So you can wait for an element or something also, so I can put even some time here. Now let me put some time here, maybe 2 seconds. Fine. Okay, so 2000 means it is milliseconds, so that means that 2 seconds. So this is, I'm selecting based on the value attribute. Okay, and here I'm selecting based on the text, the visible text. Now let's see whether it is working fine or not, and I will put another weight here so that I can see it's changing, and then we will see this selected, and then it will close my browser. Fine, so let me go back to the terminal, and here I will say npm run cypress and colon open, so this will open my UI. And here you can see it is listing the current test case or the spec file, and upon clicking this will launch my browser. Okay, you can see not applicable, and then it selected female. Okay, so that's how you can select based on the value or based on the display text. Now the another thing is that you can even compare it, like see, I mean I am selecting something here, let's say that I'm selecting not applicable, but how do I know that whether the not applicable is selected or not? So for this actually Cypress is giving another option where we can invoke the property. You if you have observed in our previous session where we can fetch the value, the text or anything from a particular element, we have used invoke method actually there. So the same thing I will apply here. So here what I can do, in this itself only I can say invoke, and here I will say what I want to invoke, the value that I selected. Right now I can put a then key, then method, and inside this I can write like this. So here let me just put value, and this we already know, right? So I need not to explain this one. Now here what I will do, or maybe what I can do instead, I can even print this one, sci.log, and here I will say selected value. I will show you two ways. Okay, so selected value, and then colon starts, and then append the value. Okay, so this will basically give me the value, that this value, and it would have been executed upon saving. and you can see here selected value is NA because I have chosen not applicable. I mean, it already passed that one. So the same way, or else, so here I can write even an expect statement. So we will see in our future sessions how we can assert a particular element with its text by using the expect keyword. This is coming from the chai framework from the JavaScript. Fine. Now I can even use the Cypress's default should command actually to verify that. So what I can do here, select this one dot should. Okay, here I can say have. So should always accepts a parameter as a have dot, and here I will say value. Okay, now what should be the value actually here, comma, I will say small letters actually, because see, I'm selecting this one, this female, but the value is a small female, right, from the options tag. And you can see expected select to have value female, and the assertion is also passed. It is green, so it means that it is passed. Okay, so that's how you can do that. Either you can use the expect statement to verify whatever you selected, or you can use the Cypress default should command on the same line itself to make sure that whatever you have, you wanted to choose the same thing whether it is selected or not. There is another way actually you can even do that. So let me show you that. Now these are all values, right? You are getting the value, but I want to get the text as well. So if I show here, if you see, this is only giving you the value when I'm invoking the val method. Okay, but how to get this one actually, whatever it is selected, they not applicable. So for this there is a different way actually to do that. Let me give here get. I'm just identifying the same one. So here maybe I can just copy directly. So because I selected that option, I need not to reselect again. This time I want to fetch it actually from the selected value. So what I can do here, now this is my actual select element, right? I can do a find, and here I will say option and then colon, and here I will say selected. This is a jQuery statement, okay, or jQuery key actually to identify, or it will return. Basically what this does, this will return me whatever the element that is selected. I mean this complete element it will return me. Now in this case not applicable, right? So this will return me this entire option. Now once I got this one, I can get the text easily. So that's what I am going to do. Now here I will say invoke. Instead of val property, what I can do, I can use the text, and this will give me the value. Or without invoking, I can use this should command here directly. So in this case, let me put this one instead of value, I will say text. I will say text. Now what is the text? The text is not NA in this time. Okay, I'm selecting by using value, but when I'm saying text, it should be not applicable. Understand the difference? Okay, now in this case, let me save and then rerun this one. Okay, you can see everything is working fine. You can see this expected to have text not applicable, even though I'm selecting NA, because I'm getting option selected have text property. So that is why I'm getting. Or you can even put the invoke of val for change. I can even copy this entire one. I'm just showing different ways actually to handle the same thing. So here I can write like this, and here in this case I cannot do directly invoke text, it won't return you. After selecting that value, you have to get this one actually, find. This find method you have to call, because see what is happening, whenever you are selecting something, it only returns you the value property only. That is the what do you call restriction of this. After this, if you're directly invoking, so you have to use this command actually to get the text. So in between this I will be inserting this one. Now in this case I can directly make a text property, and now here I can say selected text, and here maybe I will say text value. Okay, and then the same thing I will put here text value. Now if I'm saving, this will run. Let me show you then one by one. Now you can see the selected text is not applicable, but in this case it was coming as NA actually. Here you can see selected value is NA, selected text is not applicable. How it is coming? This is coming because of this one, option selected. So this is the difference between invoking a value or invoking a text property of that particular select statement. This is very essential to understand the difference between how to fetch the value, how to get the display text. Okay, so hope you understood actually, and this is more into the selecting single values only. Okay, now in the now this is for single selection, right? Let me just make it like this: select element, single selection. And now the second one I will be executing with a multiple actually. So the same thing, let me copy paste another it block, and here let's make this one as x. Okay, x means it will skip the current it block. Now this it block will be more focusing into the multiple selections. It's pretty same, there is only slight differences are there. Let me show you that. Now the same web page I will be navigating, but in this case I won't be talking about this element, rather I will be taking this one actually. Now here, how do you know that a particular select element is multi-selected or single selection? Based on this particular attribute. Okay, so now here the id is tools, so directly I can say, instead of this name I can say hash sign, and then I will say tools. So this will, oops, sorry, not on the visit but on this one. So let me just delete this one, pound or hash sign and then tools. Fine. Now in this case, now here I want to select something. The same thing, I have to first find it out anything. Let's say that the first one is a QTP, right? Now QTP is small as a value. So I can say select QTP. And this is, I'm taking a single selection. That's why it might give you a single selection. And the same thing, I can get the value and then I can print it, and this is very much single selection only. Now let's try to see how we can go with the name wise also. So let me just remove all these things, or maybe I will comment this one so that I can reuse whenever I need. Okay, so here this is multi-line comment. Now in this case let me try to copy this one, and this time I want to select based on some visible text. Now visible text is, let's say that for this one actually, now here it is test tag white. Now I want to select this one, so instead of the value I will say like this, and I want to select. Let's not verify anything, just I want to select. Now I should see two things selected, one is QTP and test tag white. Now let me save this one. As soon as I save, it selects that. Okay, so there is some problem actually. So the QTP did not select here. Okay, so the reason, you know why it is not selecting. So first I selected QTP, right? Now I am going another chain here. Now in this case I am going, so what it is doing, it is deselecting the QTP and selecting this one. Now for multi-selection, what you need to do, you need to write one line of code to select multiple elements or multiple items. So for this, what we can do, we need to do a small change. Now this is single selection, let's keep that as it is. In this case, what we need to do, under this select I want to write multiple options actually here. Like for an instance, I will be creating an array actually here, not a single one but an array. In square bracket I need to write, so here I will say QTP, okay, and then comma, and then I will say that test tag white. Now if I save it, hopefully this will select multiple, but it should have been selected this one. There is something actually missing. Maybe let's give a QTP and then save it. Yeah, you can see, so it is the name property it is taking. So QTP and test tag white both. Now let's say that you want to select the selenium as well. So what you can do, you can just add another array element, and this time it is capital selenium. Now save it, and you can see here it is printing that one. So this case it printed all the three options. Now the question comes, if I am selecting multiple options, then how would I will be fetching the value or the text value actually. So this is a bit straightforward, but you have to know actually the array concepts actually. So for an instance, what I will do, so here the same line of code I can write as dot invoke, and here I will say val. Okay, now when I'm saying invoke val, what this does, this returns me a three list options actually. Like here it was giving only single, right? Selected value I used to take because it is single return value only. But in this case, it will return me an array of these three things. Let me show you that. So then I will say here, I'll take a parameter like as value, and then in this case I will create a method, and in this let me try to print this one console log I will be printing. So console dot log, and in this case I will be printing that value directly. Okay, let me do this one, and now let me save this one. Okay, fair enough. There is no difference actually, you will get it. But how do I see that what it is selected? So for this, let me right click, inspect, because I'm using console.log. So it should be visible under this console. You can see. So this invoke property, this invoke method value is returning three array elements actually. What are the three elements? These are the three, but I cannot print directly the name because it is in this format. You can see in this format it is there. Now I have to loop it to get these items actually, this qtp selenium white. How do I get it? Now for test tag white, the value is white. Let me show you that. So if I mouse over this one and inspect, you can see for test tag white the value is white. That's why you are getting the console output as white. Now my job is to get this what do you call array and then print its values. For this actually we need to loop it. So Cypress has an option to use each condition. So let me show you that. So let me just keep this one as it is. I won't be touching anything here so that you can practice later. I will be copying and then pasting here. And in this case, instead of your what do you call the invoke val and then directly, I will be using an each method actually. Now this each method will be giving me one jQuery element. Now the same thing, how in the each then method I was passing a parameter. In this case, I will be passing a parameter with a dollar sign, dollar $EL. Now let me delete this one. Now like this. So each, and then so whatever this invoke method is returning me the array of elements, I'm taking each of that element, which is I'm capturing into a el variable, and this el variable is noted with a dollar sign. Once I'm getting inside, I can play with that el actually. So what I can do, I can do something like this, sci dot get, or I can even do a wrap. Now whenever you are doing that element you are getting from here, you can wrap that element here. Now here you can see, do like this, and that element variable name is this one, right? I can invoke, because see now I'm getting individual elements. Now individual elements I can simply invoke dot val. Okay, dot val dot, and then I can say then, as usual way only I'm making it as text, and then here I'm printing. Now here I can say sci dot log, and inside this I'm doing text. I can do like this, I can do like this, or another way also I can put like this as well. So here I can, instead of val, I can even go with the text property also. So here I will say maybe something, I will make it like this, value, because this is returning me the value, right? This invoke val, and this will be returning me the text property. So like this I can use it. Let's see what is the error it is showing. Oh, no problem. This is just, it is giving that this value, I don't have any variable type I have assigned. You can see this value can be string, integer, or could be an array, but I'm directly printing inside this. This log only accepts some message in terms of string only. So that is why it is throwing. But once I save this, you can go to the runner here, and you can see all of these will be printed one by one. Let me show you that. Okay, there is some problem. Okay, so you know what it is happening. This invoke value I cannot loop directly because the way it is returning is not an array of elements. It's so here what I can do instead of invoking this one, I can write this statement. Actually, we have used that here, right? Find this one actually. So I will, so this will give me whatever options is selected directly. So I will just copy paste or replace this one with this one. Now this will give me the multiple elements. Okay, this find option selected will give me those three options which I selected. Now these three options will be looped by using this each method. Now here when I'm doing this one, I can use this side dot invoke text property or the value. So this should be inside this one actually. So okay, so let me save this one and let's see whether it is printing or not. Okay, as you can see now it is printing properly. You can see all these three options selected here. Now it is printing one by one, first, second, and then the third one. Like this you can get it actually. Now the same thing, let's say that you don't want to do with the value. See here everything is small letter qtp, selenium, and white. Now in this case if I convert this one into text property like this way, so here you will see something with the text, all the text properties you will see. You can see all are capital letter. So it is collapsed. So here you can see QTP, Selenium, test tag white. Before when we were invoking the value property, it was white. Now it is test tag white. So that's how actually you can get the values. Now you can say that what I am going to do by getting these values. Actually you can do this what do you call this should property. You can use this should, or what you can do, this individual text whatever you are getting, right, you can keep it or assign it to an array. So in TypeScript you can join the values into an array, and that array you can compare against any of your arrays actually. Like if you have already an array, you decided that the array should be qtp test tag white. Now you fetch from this whatever you selected. Now you will have one array here, one array variable, and you will be creating one array from these values. Now you compare this value against these values whatever you captured. So that is the reason actually we are getting all these things, that value. Another way, one shortcut is there. Let's say that you don't want to fetch the values and everything or the text, you just want to use the should command. See, we were using the should command here, right? If you see in our single selection, it was all done with one line of code only. So the same thing you can do with the multi selection also. Let me show you that way as well. And for now let's delete all these things. These are all from the single selection, right? So here what I will be doing, um, so this same line of code I'm writing here. Okay, and I will do here like this. Now in this case what I will do, I will put a should. Okay, should, there is something called as deep equal. Okay, deep equal comma, and now in this case I am putting this particular array. Okay, and in this case what I'm going to do, instead of these are, because this should will always give me the val property only. Okay, it won't give me the text. For text property you have to do like this, find option selected and you have to get everything. But this will return me, this should deep equal will return me all the value properties. Okay, and here in this case it is white and this is selenium. Okay, now let me save this one and see what happens. I don't want to select again, so let me just comment this one as well. I have to invoke that val property, then only I can do a deep equal actually. Now let me save this one and let's go to this. Oh, okay, so this is deep dot equal actually. Okay, here you can see. Okay, and then save it and go to here. Yeah, now you can see. Okay, so if you mouse over here, qtp selenium white it returned, and then it's deeply it is comparing with this one actually. So it is invoking the property. So if you're fine with the value property to display it, you are absolutely fine. There is no problem with one line of code, you can do that. But if you want to compare with the text property, so that time you need to write this line of code actually here. So let me just make it as proper so that it won't be confusing to you guys. And again, let me move back. Okay, so like this you can do that. Okay, so these are the different ways actually you can select a particular element or an item based on the value or the display text, and you can fetch the value and compare it against your required or expected values. So hope this session is helpful. Uh, Stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.